Throne Liberty has released heroic weapons, which is basically legendary weapons, and you guys can get them right now inside of the game, inside raids and at the NPC. But in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys what not to do and what you should do as a player to maximize the growth of your legendary weapons. Now, I'm going to be making a dummies video. If you guys have been watching me before, you guys really love these videos, but it's legendary or heroic gear for dummies. So let's just jump into it. Now, the first things first, we can see that you can get the legendary gear at this NPC right here. If you talk to this NPC, you can get Chaos Prisms. As you guys have seen, I have actually bought them out. I'm going to move my camera real quick. Chaos Prisms, these are needed to craft the growth stones to increase the level of your weapon. And then you have Precious, which pouches, which have a chance to get extracts. And there was a bug for this, by the way. There was a bug where you could dismantle or dissolve the extracts and get entropy shards, but they fixed it apparently. So it was just a bug or an exploit which was fixed. But with entropy shards, you guys can basically buy the weapon and the gear. Now, the main thing you guys need to know about this is you can only wear one weapon and one gear piece, which means if you have, let's say, the heroic greatsword, you cannot wear the SNS. You can only choose one of these to equip. So usually what you want to be doing is you want to have one legendary weapon, and the second you want to have like archboss weapon, right? If you want to like fully min max. And with the gear piece, same thing. You can only wear one of these gear pieces. So if you wear the chest, you cannot wear the helmet. So you're locked to one piece. Yes. Of gears. So you want to be upgrading your weapon and your gear piece, one of each, and then accessories will come later on. Now let's talk about the gear itself. When you guys buy these, this will be +0. But if you look at the stats of this, it is almost as good as a +12 epic. So +0. This is what I got from basically doing the raid. It's a +0, and then this one is a +12. But if you look at the stats, you will see the defenses are about the same. The attack speed is actually kind of higher on this. This one has higher dexterity, but it also gives me 3 additional stats, which is insane. So these are basically the heroic weapons. So they are really good, and you should possibly be getting them. Now let's talk about gaining the materials and how you get this. Now you can get this by actually dropping it inside the raid. Now the raid is the first normal raid. I actually made a guide on this. This is fairly easy, and at the end you will actually have a guaranteed drop of a piece of gear, and then this will drop you currencies, prisms like this, and shards. Now if you do the difficult mode, which most of you, I'm going to be honest, are not going to be able to do this until they nerf this because it's extremely hard. But this will also guarantee you more of this. But you can only do this once a week. So you're limited on your materials every single week, and you won't be able to get too many of these materials. And you need these materials. The first thing I will highly tell everybody to buy out is the Chaos Prisms, because you need Chaos Prisms to upgrade your weapons. Now let's talk about your gear. Now, once you get, the only way to get these currencies are through the raid, is through your weekly missions by doing the entropy shards, and then you can also get it by completing the raid every week. So you get entropy shards through that. There's also a way to get it actually through Codex too, which is under exploration raid Altar of Calantia, and you will see that if you do this inside of the raid, you collect the codexes and you finish some of these quests right here, which is basically like doing the mechanics over and over again. You'll be able to get more of these shards, and it also will give you a skill core imprint scroll. So these are the ways that you can actually get these materials, and what you can also do, they have fixed that you can dissolve the extracts, but you can dissolve the gear. If you drop like a chest piece inside the raid, you can basically dissolve it and get 12 shards if you want to. And with the shards, what you can do is you can either buy the item that you need, or at least buy out the prisms, which you should be doing. Now these are the way you can actually get the materials. Now what do you use the materials for except buying from the NPC? One of the main things that you use this currency for is, if you look at the craft option, you have heroic equipment growth stone. Now the heroic equipment growth stone right here is the only way you can upgrade your gear, and this is what's going to take you a lot of time. Now I'm going to be honest, guys, upgrading your gear piece to a +12 is going to take you months, like months. I'm not even joking. The next raid is coming in like 2-3 months, and when the next raid comes, it's going to make it a little bit easier to get more chaos prisms. But to upgrade your weapon, you're going to basically need this. So if I look at my level up and I go here, I will need this. So if I use this, I'm gonna need more of growth stones and more of growth stones every time I get an upgrade in, right? So that's basically how you upgrade them, is by crafting these, which is craft some chaos prisms. Again, you get chaos prisms by running the raid and weekly by buying out the NPC, which is 5 of them from buying the NPC. So that's the way you upgrade them and level up this. So this is gonna take the most time. Getting your legendary is very easy. You can get them probably this week or next week, either your weapon or your gear piece. But upgrading them is what's gonna take a long ass time. And not only that, there's a lot of stuff that goes into upgrading these, because you can level them up, and then you can trade them, and to trade them you need to buy extracts, which cost thousands of lucents. So most of you guys can't afford it, I'm sorry. And to unlock more traits of this, you can either buy the extracts, which cost a lot of lucent, or you can pay 600 unlock stones and 30 Calantia shards to unlock more of these traits. And then for the heroic trait, same thing. You have to pay a lot of unlock stones or Calanthea shards. So you will need this for 2 of your for your weapon and for your gear piece. So that's the way to do it. This also has stat conversion, which is really nice. And with the stat conversion, you see this. There's 3 stats: melee defense, melee hit chance, heavy attack. You guys know I don't want melee defense, so I could change out the melee defense. For example, 5 perception, but that's gonna cost me 800 lock stones, more Calantia shards, and conversion stones. So if I am you guys, what would I do right now with my gear? If you can get a weapon, let's say you drop a weapon or a gear piece, should you wear it? Should you upgrade it? What should you do if you get a gear piece, right? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If you are not a whale, if you cannot buy out the extracts, if you go here and you can buy out all of these, let's see, I can buy the extracts for this. Like say I can buy the attack speed, I can buy out the range, I can buy out max health, and I can put it on my gear. If I can do that, and I'm a whale, I can wear these gloves today. So if I can get this, and because then what you can do is you can trade this up with the lucent you have. So it's gonna cost you probably like 20k lucent to fully upgrade your gear piece or your weapon, and then you can level it up to like level 2 or 3. Because at level 12 they have insane stats, but to level 2 or 3, so as a whale you should be putting them on right now. But if you're not a whale, if you're free to play, you don't play, I would wait till at least you start getting some traits on your gear. Because if you don't have traits, you're losing out on a lot of stats from your normal gear, right? Because your normal gear has the extra traits, has the extra stuff, but the legendary gear does not have it. So I would still wait a week at least, on the second week, before I actually equip any of these legendary gear. Now, what should you equip and what should you focus on? Weapon or gear? And I'm going to be honest, guys, weapon. Always weapon. The weapon base damage that you get on the weapon is insane. Like, look at that base damage up there. If we compare it with, but if you compare it with like the greatsword and stuff, you will see that the base damage and the stats overall, the weapon is pretty high. So you should always focus on the weapon first. Now, how long should you focus on your weapon? In my opinion, you should trade out your weapon as much as you can if you can afford it. Once you also, if you are able to drop it, good, or you need to save up the shards for it. But once you have the weapon, wait a week. You can level it up with the growth stones that you get by the weekly, because once you buy the weekly shards, you can upgrade your weapon. Let's say this is the weapon, you can upgrade the weapon to like +3, maybe, yeah, not sure if you can get to +4, maybe +3 or +4, depending on your RNG. So next week you can do that, and then you should always focus on your weapon more first, because it increases your damage the most, and then you should focus on your gear later. So I would always prioritize the weapon over the gear. So what I would do if I were you guys is I would, of course, buy out the chaos prisms every week, and then upgrade my weapon first. Now the second question is the skill core device that we gotta talk about. The skill core device is an imprint and an extract. Basically what you can do in your legendary weapon is, let's say you get the legendary greatsword, right? And let's be real, there's some really good greatsword passives out there, right? If you look at the greatswords in the auction house, for example, we have for example, the Titanic Blade, which has the Gaia Crash passive, which is really strong. And then you have like Naru's passive, which is alright. But let's say I wanna have my passive from this sword, and then I want to put it in my legendary. The way you would do it is you would go to your skill core device, and don't do this until you're ready to do the swap. When your legendary weapon has traits and you're ready to level it up, that's when you should do it. And then you go here, you extract. My stuff is bounced, I can't really do it, but you extract this. So you will extract the passive Gaia Crash, and then you will put it into your other weapon. Now, how can you do this? Now, there's several ways to do this. You can also buy it actually in the shop right now for Lucent, straight up 360 skill core imprint scroll right here. Maybe there's an extra scroll too. I'm not sure. I know only imprint scroll right here that you can buy straight with Lucent, so it'll pay to win. But the other way to do it is through the crafting. So if you look at the crafting, you have skill core extraction right here. So I can use this. It's not that expensive, as you can see, to extract the passive out, and then I will use the skill core imprint, which I need 10 of. So this is, I would not buy this from here. I will buy it from Lucent, from the shop, because this is not worth it. Using, because prisms, remember, you need prisms for your enchantment growth stone. So only you should buy that the imprint scroll from the shop. So if you go to the shop right here, just buy the imprint scroll. That way you can extract it and put it into your new weapon. Now, very important, if you have an archboss weapon, all right, if you're an archboss enjoyer, I would highly advise you guys not to do this. There's two reasons why. If you look at the archboss weapons, you will see, for example, if you have 40 Warblade, this Warblade right here, this is, let's say you have a plus 12. This is I don't know what you're going to call it, but it's a worse passive than what you can get, because now you can actually upgrade your archboss weapons. So if you go to your weapons right here, and you will see, if you have, let's say, Cordy Groom, let's say Tevent, okay? Let's say this Tevent one. I'm not sure if you can do this. I think you can only do with the older archboss weapons. Yeah, I think so. For now, I think you can only do it with the older archboss weapons. But basically, what this does is it upgrades your passive. So let's say I have a Queen Bellandir right here. You see, I have one out of one. But the passive right here, you can upgrade this to something called the Incendence. I think it's called Frenzied. Some things are called Frenzied or something. But basically what it does is it upgrades your archboss weapon. So if you're going to extract the passive, I would highly advise you guys to upgrade it first. Now, if you have archboss weapons, you're most likely pay to win, but this will basically drop at the new archbosses, and then you can upgrade the plus 12 into an enhanced archboss weapon, which will give you a better passive, and then you can extract the passive and put it in your legendary if you want to. Or what I would highly advise people, if you only have one archboss weapon, the best way to do it is get one legendary weapon, put some passive into it, not the archboss one, and then keep it, upgrade the archboss as your secondary weapon, because you can't equip two legendaries. So unless you have two archbosses, then you should probably do, wait till you upgrade it again and then put it inside a new one if you want to go through the effort. But I will highly advise you guys to wait with taking out the passive from an archboss weapon until you upgrade it, or not do it at all and just have one legendary and one super archboss weapon, because then you will probably min-max the most. So those are my the biggest beginner tips for this. So again, to make it very simple and very clear is, you could potentially just wear legendary gear today if you want to. If you have plus 12, you can swap, but I will highly advise you not to, and I will wait for the weapon before you actually decide to start leveling something. I would not go for gear piece. Now, if you go for a gear piece, what gear piece should you buy? And I will highly advise you guys to either go for the cloak. So if you look at the cloak, you will see the cloak actually gives more stats right here than other pieces of gear, because you see on most pieces of gear you get 4 pieces of stats on your epics, and then on your cloak you get 3 stats, so you get extra stats from these pieces from the cloak. Or I would go for gloves, because gloves actually gives you hit, an insane amount of hit too, so you can get insane amount of hit levels with your gloves and cloak. Aside from that, go select whatever you guys want, but my advice would probably go for either the cloak or the gloves. I think they'll be really one of the strongest ones that you could probably get on top of your gear. Also, the cloak doesn't follow a set effect bonus, which is really nice, so I'll probably go for the cloak myself. But again, go for the weapon first and then the cloak after. Make sure you do your raid weekly. Remember, it's a weekly loot limit on the raid normal mode. You have to do this every single week, and if you can't do difficult mode, good, but most likely you can. So you basically have to wait for the new raids. So about the time it would take you to maximize the piece will probably take you, again, like I said, like everybody, I mean, you get new rates in like 3 months, but you can't do hard yet. It's probably going to take you like 6 months for each piece. So 6 months for a weapon, and then probably around 5 to 6 months for a weapon, 5 to 6 months for a gear piece, and then 5 to 6 months for accessories. However, there's going to be more raids coming, and you could probably do hard mode then, so you probably be less than 6 months. So eventually you'll probably be able to get all of the pieces maxed out in maybe 6 months total, all three pieces 6 months total, once you have more raids and stuff to go on. But the system is very simple. The main important thing are these chaos prisms, these entropy shards. Eventually you'll have enough to buy out this shop right here. The main other thing that you need to be focusing on is actually doing your daily dungeons, unfortunately, because you need to have if you look at the gear and you look at all of these traits or enhancements, you need insane amount of unlock stones, right? Like insane amount of unlock stones for stat conversion, insane amount of unlock stones. You need probably like for your weapon and your piece of gear. Let's say you want to swap some of these stats out, right? Let's say you want to swap one or two, 1600 of these, and then for this, you need to if you're gonna upgrade this, you need another 1600. Uh, like it's increasing by a lot, like 2.2k, and then we need another stat, right? 2.8k, and then for the heroic, you need 3k plus unlock stones for this, unless you buy the extract with Lucent, of course. But yeah, so again, heroic and legendary gear is fun. I mean, they're going to be extremely strong at plus 12. The stats are absolutely nuts on this when they're plus 12. But as a new player, or not a new player, as a casual player, go slow with it. Don't waste too many materials into it. If you're a whale, go ahead, buy out the trades, and then start swapping already from your already piece. But if you're casual and you can't do like the hard difficulties and stuff, give it a week or two. Maybe you get lucky and you drop the gear piece that you want, and you will save a bunch of these shards and materials, right? But thank you guys so much for watching. Check this video right here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.